Today I'm going to show you a NIS2 business continuity plan document and how to fill it out. And this document is very important because it gives you a clear guideline on what to do in case of a disruption. So how to recover your systems and what to do basically to communicate to all the interested parties. Okay, I'm showing you now the business continuity plan template from Advisera's NIS2 documentation toolkit. And here on the first page, you typically insert your company logo, company name, and some general information about the document, code of the document, version of the document, date, author, approver, confidentiality level. And then on the second page, you display change history. So basically how the document has changed throughout its various versions, throughout its dates. And you also display the table of contents. And then when you move further on, then you start writing the main part of your document. Now, I'll go back to the main part of the document in a minute. Let me first explain you how the document is structured. The first section is purpose, scope, and users. So basically where you define who needs to read this document, what this document is for, and so on. Second section, reference documents. So this is where you will refer to NIS, let's say ISO 27001 and other relevant standards. And the third part is about business continuity plan. So basically how you react to disruptions and which kind of temporary measures you have to introduce to make your company resilient and to recover your operations. You briefly define the plan content. You will later on see that this is where the plan refers to disaster recovery plan, activity recovery plans, these kind of things, these kind of documents. Also some assumptions. So basically the whole document assumes that there are some, let's say, resources available, because otherwise it wouldn't be able to for you to implement it. Appointments and authorities. So who is in charge of making which kind of decisions? What are the, let's say, limits of making decisions? These kind of things. How the plan is activated, how it is deactivated. So who again can make these decisions? How the management communicates and how other employees communicate with the key stakeholders. What are the sites, physical sites where the company needs to recover its operations, how you transport your employees towards these sites. What is the order of recovery for particular activities? I'll speak a little bit about this later on, but this is where you define this order depending on the RTOs. What are the interdependencies and interactions between particular activities and how they depend on each other, and what are the required resources for recovery. In section 4, this is where you speak about how you restore and resume your activities from temporary measures. So again, section 3 is mainly about these creating some temporary measures to resume your operations, and then section 4 is more about restoring, so bringing your operations back into business as usual. And here you have preservation of the damaged assets and evaluation of damage, assessment of the situation and determining options and responsibilities, and finally developing action plans. And then section 5 is about the validity and document management. So who is in charge of the document, who is the document owner, how often do you need to review it. And finally, section 6 is about these appendices that I already mentioned that make the part of this business continuity plan. Okay, let me show you now how to fill out this document. Going for section 1. Basically, you'll see these square brackets where you have to insert something that is specific for a company. So in this case, this is company name. So let's say that your company is called Test Incorporated. You simply move on. The reference documents, it refers here to NIS2 Article 21. And you'll notice in the comments that there is already a link to this specific article in NIS2. So when you click this link, you will see the full text of Article 21 of NIS2. Also references to ISO 22301, the business continuity standard, clause 8.4, and also ISO 27001 information security standard, control 5.29. And some other relevant documents like business impact analysis questionnaire, business continuity strategy, crisis management plan. So all of these are documents that you do need to have for NIS2. And then section 3.1, plan content. Actually, the business continuity plan also has these other elements, other appendices that are crucial. So incident response plan. So this is where you define how you react initially to any kind of an incident. Disaster recovery plan, how your IT infrastructure recovers, and recovery plans for individual activities. This is basically for business part of your company. And then some assumptions, appointments and authorities. Again, you have suggested items here. You can say that you do not have, let's say, a crisis manager, that you simply want the CEO of your company to run any kind of crisis, and then you simply insert it here, change this kind of definition here. How the plans are activated, deactivated, again, this is something that you can adapt. Also, the communication methods are defined here in the crisis management plan. If you have some other document which specifies these kind of things, then of course you can fill this out. Whose job title for business continuity manager? You could say that you have, I don't know, business continuity officer. All right, so this is basically how you fill this out, and this is the way to go through all the way to the end of the document. You simply go and where you see these square brackets, then you fill this out, and you use these comments to help you with any, let's say, dilemmas on or what to write in. Of course, you can delete any comment not to get into a way. Now, the most important decisions that have to be made around this business continuity plan are around the RTOs or recovery time objectives of your particular departments or activities. And this is usually done between the person who is in charge of business continuity. This could be a business continuity manager, or this could be, let's say, CISO or security officer for maybe mid-size or smaller companies that do not have enough resources to have a separate business continuity manager. And this person who is in charge of business continuity has to coordinate these decisions together with the senior management. And you will base these decisions around RTOs based on the business impact analysis and business continuity strategy. So these are the documents that have to be made before you actually write this business continuity plan. Now, some other challenges regarding this business continuity plan are around not getting the commitments from employees within the company, and also writing this, let's say, complex and detailed document. With regards to commitment, it's very important that you raise awareness related to business continuity and also train your employees, meaning that you push them through a program which explains them why this kind of a business continuity plan is important, why is it useful, in which cases it needs to be used, and also how to use this particular document in a case of a disruption. And to resolve this challenge of having too much to write, I'll show you now how to use this document wizard from Advisera's AI-powered toolkit. So once you log into this NIS2 documentation toolkit software, you'll see several folders, and when you go for this business continuity folder, you will see several documents within it. So you simply go for business continuity plan, and this is how you start the wizard. And you'll notice here that in these fields, there are some fields that are already pre-populated. And basically this is because I use this same wizard for some writing of some other documents, and then the software remembers that these are the job titles that are used for that purpose. So for instance, this person, John Smith, is the name of the person to approve the document because it is the same name for some other documents. The same thing for the confidentiality level. I simply move on next. Job title for business continuity manager. Let's say this is now, I don't know, business continuity, well, manager. Let's call it exactly like this. Okay, let's move forward. Where will you store paper version of business continuity documents? You can simply skip some of these fields if you don't think they are relevant. Where will you store digital versions? And you can also see suggestions here what to fill out. So let's say you will store digital versions on smartphones. Okay, who is the owner? CISO. Let's move forward. Job title to approve. And then once you click download, you will see that this document gets created very quickly in a couple of seconds. And then you simply click it to open it. Okay, now you'll notice that this document now is a little bit different from the one that I have shown you previously. This document already has automatically the logo of the company, name of the company inserted, because I already uploaded this information to the software for the previous documents and now inserted them automatically into the document. And you'll notice that also this John Smith approver is already here. Internal use, it's already here. The headers are already filled out automatically. So this speeds up the writing of the document. Let's see what else did this software insert. So you see company name is already inserted automatically. Okay, let me see further. Yeah, so business continuity manager, this is also already inserted. So as you can see, this wizard basically remembers for each document that you fill out, it remembers all the job titles, names, these kind of things, and then suggests these things to be automatically inserted into each and every document. So the more documents you write, the actually quicker you become. Hope this was helpful, and to see this business continuity plan for yourself, sign up for the free trial of NIS2 Toolkit. Click the link to the toolkit in the description below, and you'll be able to see the free demo of this document and also other documents from the toolkit, and you can also try how this document wizard works. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below, not to miss my new videos. Thanks for watching.